Big changes in the Big Ten. The conference announcing it has agreed to new East-West divisions and a 9-game conference schedule starting in 2016. To break it all down is our managing editor, Pete Futek, who wrote an article for collegefootballnews.com assessing the winners and the losers. And Pete, first and foremost, I think we're all a winner now that Legends and Leaders is finally gone. So tell us, who are the winners and losers here with this new division?
Biggest winner overall by far, Wisconsin and Nebraska. They're in the easier of the two divisions by far. They don't have Michigan, they don't have Michigan State, they don't have Ohio State. Basically, they got to deal with each other each and every year to have a shot at the Big Ten championship game. They're in the same division as Iowa and Illinois and Minnesota and Northwestern. You know, so those schools are all okay. And if you're those four schools, you're saying, you know what, we got a shot at this, you know, once in a while. But if you're Nebraska and Wisconsin, you're really fired up. The losers in this, the new guys, Maryland and Rutgers. Hey, welcome to the Big Ten, guys. And you know, now you're in the division with Michigan and your division with Ohio State. And now welcome to this chair here with Jugdish and Mohammed and Lonnie, and you know, enjoy the punch and cookies. You know, they're in big trouble. They're never, ever, ever going to see the light of day of the Big Ten championship.
All right, so these changes in the Big Ten take place at the same time the big shift, of course, to the college football playoff. Yep. So how does this affect, impact, improve their chances here?
It improves it big time because the SEC is always going to have, obviously, one team in the Final Four. They're probably going to have two on most years, at least that's going to be the argument. There's going to be a lot of jockeying for position for one of those other 2 or 3 spots. And now, when you have Ohio State and Michigan in the same division, the chance of one of those teams becoming a monster and being the one that kind of rolls to the other side are a little bit better, and I think now they have a better shot. And if the two teams are great now because they play each other at the end of the year, there's a chance of both of those teams going to end up getting in a playoff.
All right, so as far as the 9-game conference slate, it appears teams like Michigan and Ohio State lose out the most. They lose an extra home game, lose that revenue. So how does this affect the way teams are going to be able to schedule?
Because the money is going to be massive. They have to kind of think long view and big picture on this because, while yeah, it seems bad that they're going to lose 1 or 2 conference or non-conference games here and there, the pie is just going to grow exponentially. The TV packages are going to be bigger. The Big Ten network's going to be bigger. Everyone's going to make a lot more money. They'll be fine.
All right, so now we always like to hear from some of our insiders on campus and what they have to say. Phil Dawson covers the Wisconsin Badgers. Phil, thumbs up or thumbs down on the changes?
Well, for Badger fans, it's double thumbs up, as Pete was mentioning. I mean, you have to deal with Nebraska, and that's a team Wisconsin has already dealt with well so far since the Cornhuskers joined the league. So Wisconsin fans are elated over it, and it's not just because of the fact they don't have to play teams like Michigan, Ohio State, Michigan State every year, but also the fact that now you have these drivable distances. Iowa hasn't been on the Badger schedule for the last 4 years, and now you can make that trip to Iowa City and see the Hawkeye fans again. You're going to drive to Northwestern. You're going to drive to Minnesota and Illinois. These are all games you can get to. When the Leaders and Legends division was split, the Badgers were pushed to the other side. They were playing the more Eastern time zone team. So it's a real good fit for the Badgers. They obviously feel very fortunate to be in the division that they're in.
So, Phil, any reaction from Barry Alvarez or head coach Gary Anderson to this?
Well, Alvarez is kind of like the Don of the Big Ten. So he was telling everybody that this was going to happen, that they're going to go geographic. And this was, in the middle of last year when this was being talked about. They had brought up the 9-game schedule before and decided to vote to keep it an 8-game schedule until this 2016 season does start. But it does affect, those teams once you're talking getting the 5 home versus the 4 away. And, with the teams who are cycling through and they'll schedule for parity the first couple of years through it. But people are going to miss that home game. But as long as that home game isn't, throw out some non-BCS team, which is supposed to be the change anyway because of this playoff, I think everybody's happy with it, Gary Anderson and Barry Alvarez included.
All right, Phil, thanks very much. Pete, as always, appreciate the insight as well. Well, speaking of conferences, what if we drafted an NFL team of kids from the SEC versus all the other leagues in the country? Who would win? Find out only on CampusInsiders.com.